adventure in Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
This is Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with our next guest who has, they just released a new single, and it is badass. So welcome to the show, Paul from 12 Stones. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, man. Thanks for having me, taking the time with me.
Oh, my pleasure. And I was actually, you know, a lot of times with interviews, I'll watch the video like right before the interview to get myself in the zone and pumped up, and it did do that for me.
Nice, nice.
The new video and the new version with lyric Noel, it is just so badass. So tell us about how that happened.
Yeah, we're very fortunate with the song World So Cold. Initially, it was written in 2006, and it was on our Anthem for the Underdog album. But strangely enough, it feels like it's sadly still relevant song lyrically in the state of the world that we live in. And so we started working with Judge and Jury Records, which is Howard Benson, the legendary producer, Neil Sanderson from 3 Days Grace. They have their own record label, and they reached out to us about doing some songs together, and they brought up the idea of redoing World So Cold, and I just thought, what a cool thing to have a featured artist on there that could bring, you know, a new level of intensity to the song. And they recommended lyric Noel, and she was just fantastic. It was really cool collaboration. Obviously, I have a pretty solid track record with collaborations, so
especially with one. Females, you're
right,
pretty good with females.
it seems to work out all right.
Right. And I just have to say that what I loved when I saw the press release about this, the first thing that came in my head is like, oh my God, I talk about this all the time. It's like, listen, I come from the 80s where like the songs written in the 80s from the old school punk and metal bands I was into, they could be the same songs today and just change the names that are in the songs. And it is, I'm going to be brutally honest, it's fucking ridiculous. Like all these years later, that we haven't changed a bit, you know, no. And it just blows my mind. And then you have people coming out, I won't mention who, saying that entertainers, music artists, shouldn't have a voice. Like, what has music always been? Right. It's always been a voice, you know. It's always a way to get those things out that really are bothering us in the world and sharing it with other people that's bothering them too.
Exactly. I think we all, as humans, we all face a lot of similar trials and tribulations that we, you know, on a daily basis, and no need to be silent. I mean, I know for me, music is therapy. It's my way to write down all the things that are happening in the battle between my ears. And, you know, and I find that if in any time someone can relate to a song that I've written in any way, you know, it makes it all worth it for me to continue to do the thing I feel like I'm supposed to be doing here on my short time on this little rock.
Well, I kind of agree. I totally agree, but I kind of think that the whole reason people like you are given the talent that you're given is so you could spread that positive message throughout the world. And, you know, a lot of times people that aren't into certain genres of music, they think the message is bad. It's really, if they listen to the lyrics, it's talking about what's bad, you know, and I think people get confused a lot of times, but you said therapy, you hit the key word for me, because the beauty of music is it's therapy for you, the artist, and it's also therapy for me, the person that's in the audience or the person listening. And, you know, we all have those stories of songs that got us through stuff or what we relate to. And, you know, I'll hear a certain lyric and I'm like, oh my God, that's so me, you know, right. And then you can totally relate to it. And what's great about it is not even in a judgmental way. Like there's other things in life where it's, you relate to things, but people are judging you or you're judging them. Music is, to me, the non-judgmental zone, at least nowadays. It wasn't in the 80s, and thank God it's not like that anymore.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So I want to know, going deep and digging way back, what is it that started you on this musical journey way back?
Way back, I was probably 12, 13 years old. My mom and dad got me a classical acoustic guitar one year, and I loved messing around on it and just figuring my way around the notes and kind of what worked and what didn't. And then some time went by, and I believe I was 14 years old. I was sitting in Spanish class, and a buddy of mine let me borrow the brand new Silverchair Frog Stomp album. And I start, as we did in those days in the 90s and stuff, we would go digging through the booklets of the CDs and see who recorded it and dig up all the information. And then I found out that they were the same age as me at that time. And I was like, wait, hold on. What? Why am I sitting in Spanish class? And these guys are out there making music, touring the world with their best buddies. And my entire life changed in that moment, because up until that point, I thought I was going to be a professional soccer player. And music was a cool thing that I was trying to learn. But at that moment, I was like, oh no, I'm taking a hard swing here and going to try to make music. And then I got our first record deal when I was 19. So
Nice.
About 5 years later, I somehow pulled off the dream.
I love hearing stories like that, because the part of the story that the listeners don't hear, though, is what you do to achieve that dream. Like, they think, oh, how lucky, or oh, this, or man, it is hard work. Listen, I played drums for 9 years, sucked. I switched the guitar, sucked at that. Sang thrash metal, sucked at that too. That's why I'm good at this. But
I feel like if you suck at thrash metal vocals, then you might be actually pretty good. That's like it might actually be a backwards approach.
I know, right? And the thing is that the bands that I was friends with back then, which some of them got really, 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 really big, they were just so dedicated. Like Randy Rhoads, who was one of my idols, like he practiced for 8 hours a day. And I remember being a teenager, I'm like, fuck, I don't have 8 hours a day to practice,
No.
and then, like I was at Metallica's first show ever, and I look at them now, and everybody thinks they were like this overnight success. No, it takes about 20 years to become an overnight success. I was
Right.
hanging out partying with them because only 25 people were there at the Troubadour when they're playing, but they were so dedicated. Like, even the other bands in the thrash area that I was all friends with, they all knew Metallica had something special. And I think that special was why they're here today, is that, like, listen, they ate bologna sandwiches with no bread and slept on a floor for 10 years. They did whatever it took, and there was no other option. Like, I'm also a motivational speaker, so I'm all about, in order to succeed, you have to have nothing to fall back on. And I hear your story, I'm like, that's exactly what you did too.
Yeah, we just swing for it. And a lot of people don't realize too, like in just the listener, they don't realize the struggles that happen to artists after they get signed or after they go on the road. Like, it doesn't just impact the artist, it impacts everyone in their family, children, loved ones, friends. You realize that your entire life that you thought you had is happening somewhere else while you're out trying to pursue something and playing in bars in Topeka, Kansas on a Tuesday for 3 people. And you're just like, where's the value in this? Is all the sacrifices that not only I made, but, kids and family members and everything, all the sacrifices that they're forced to make, is it worth it? And that it's a hard life to get up here and bare your soul on a stage in a room of strangers and even friends and family, to dig deep into your heart and find where your lyrics are and really sing them with passion and to be transparent enough with people, and then to go and get, share 5 guys in a hotel room and, you know, drawing straws for the cot. And it's like, man, we're all adults. We all have, you know, families and things like that. So I do know that it's not all puppies and rainbows. It's not all sunshine. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication. And for us, if we're playing on a tour, like we go out with Power Man 5000 later this year, I think we get a 35-minute set. The other 23 and a half hours of the day are just brutal. You know, it's
right.
Like driving, eating at truck stops, you know, not sleeping. And then that 35 minutes that we get on stage, I'm like, this is the best day of my life. Like, this is what I want to do. And then as soon as it's over, we load the van back up and head to the next place to play the next 30 minutes. And,
yep.
you know, the scales don't always balance themselves out.
Well, it's funny you should bring that up because I talk about all the time that, you know, why listeners should support artists and especially support them by buying their merch and stuff like that. Because they think it's just all fun and games. And like I always talk about when you're playing, that's the fun part. Everything else is the shit.
Yeah.
like that and the creating the music and the playing it. But they don't realize everything else that goes along with it. Even doing stuff like this, doing press. I always talk about it all the time. Like I go and do coverage at music festivals all over the US, UK, Europe, and I listen to other interviewers and I'm like, sometimes I'll listen to them and I'm like, man, if I was the artist, I'd be slitting my throat right now because they probably heard that question like 30 times already in the past hour.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you can tell who does research and who's just like going through their typical top 10 questions, you know.
Right.
And so it definitely goes both ways, though. I mean, as many interviews as I've sat through that have had the generic, you know, top 10 questions, I already have those answers. Like I've said it enough times where like it's just the easy off the top. So you know, when an interviewer is like this, if we're having a good rapport and a good conversation, it makes it a lot more realistic than, you know, where did the band name come from? You know what? And it's like those kind of things where it's like, yeah, that information's already out there. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Like it's cool to get a fresh perspective and a fresh set of questions.
Yeah, and you know what? I think by having conversations, you'll find out the stuff that nobody else gets out of them because, you know, music artists, they have a lot of passions and beliefs and, you know, they want to talk about certain things, but maybe they don't have that opportunity. Like one of my most memorable interviews, and I've done like over 3,000 of them, was with Lacey Sturm. And I asked her about the whole thing, what her and Sonny do for the teenagers and how she was suicidal as a teenager. And it was funny because it was at a festival, and you know how it is. It's like, you know, you have a hard 10 minutes, a hard 5 minutes, a hard 15 minutes, and I'm pretty professional about that. And she was talking, and her tour manager came over and did one of these, and she shooed him away. And then she talked for like another half an hour because she was so excited to talk about something that nobody asked her about, which I didn't know nobody asked her about, because we got off and she gave me a big hug and she's like, thanks for asking about that. Nobody asked that. And I'm thinking to myself, how does nobody ask about that? That's like probably one of her biggest passions besides music.
Sure. I mean, and that's the thing is like a lot of artists are mental health advocates. We all come from the land of autism and creative thinking, and we don't really fit into a lot of molds. So a lot of times when you get asked those neurotypical type questions, you know, and then you just kind of become like numb to it in a sense where it's like you mention something that someone's passionate about, and they're like, oh, hey, all right, now anyway, you know, and they're able to engage a lot with that. So I love that Lacey is like that. That's really great to hear. I always love when other artists are finding something relevant to say using the platform they're provided. You know, I think there's a lot of artists out there that are the sex, drugs, rock and roll, party music, you know, which is great. The world needs that 100%. But I always love finding artists that try to have something valuable to present, to maybe share a little bit of their experience to help somebody else that's struggling. One of the biggest compliments that I get is when someone says, hey man, I was listening to a 12 Son song and it really got me through XYZ, whatever that is. So no matter how small the hurdle might seem or how gigantic the mountain is to move, it makes me feel like I'm on the right path when something that I've felt and been able to put into lyrics has helped somebody else in their life. And it's someone I don't know, someone that doesn't owe me anything. They don't owe me an explanation or anything. They found a song and related to it. And that gives me a lot of joy and motivation to continue.
That's probably like the best thing of being an artist, isn't it? When you impact somebody like that, because you changed their life forever and you didn't set out to it. I talk about that all the time. Like, artists don't set out to do these things, or true artists don't set out to be a rock star. They just want to get the stuff out of them, and it is therapy for the artist. And so if it becomes therapy for the listener, that's just a super bonus.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. I'm very big into being present, especially at like our shows and stuff. Like, I try to hang out, watch every other band. I try to be available to talk to just anybody, because I'm still such a huge fan of music that I love it, and I feel privileged to get this honor to be able to make music for a living. There is the other side of the coin, however, that sometimes it almost feels heavy to know that some people are reliant upon your words at times.
Yeah.
Like you don't maybe have the most powerful thing to say in this particular song or something, so it feels a little weighty at times to where you're like, I hope this translates to what I'm trying to convey.
It's got to be a lot of pressure too when you write new songs, when you have that in your head, and it's like, instead of like when you're writing them when you're a kid in the beginning, where it's all about you, you're like, oh well, how's this going to impact people? And personally, I think the best artists that have the most impact, they do think of it of still how it affects them, and then their tribe will just naturally come to it.
Yeah, I use I a lot in our music. For me, it makes it real to me, so I can still play songs like the way I feel. A song from 25 years ago, and every time we play it, I feel the same way about it. I feel the same intense emotional connection to those lyrics and that work of music that I will never get sick of playing that song. And I don't, there's some songs I'm
so important.
Might like less, but man, every time I see our set list, I'm thrilled. I'm like, all right, cool, man. This is the show we're bringing to them tonight. Depending on who we're playing with, we might have a super heavy, upbeat, screaming in your face set, or we can turn around and like tomorrow night and the next night, we got 2 acoustic shows we're going to go play. So I like to be able to just find what vibe fits the room and have at it.
See, that's the way it should be. And that is cool because, like, I always wonder how people that sing other people's songs, I'm not talking about covers, but when you have like pop artists that don't even write their own music, like, how do you sing those songs without the emotion attached that whoever wrote it, maybe it was their emotion? Like, to me, music is like one of the most emotionally moving things. And I think to sing it, you have to like believe what you're singing. It is kind of my viewpoint. It's kind of like I'm a motivational speaker. If I'm not walking my talk, I can't be talking.
Right. Nobody wants to take advice from somebody that's, sad all the time. So it's like,
right.
Obviously you're not doing too well. So maybe I'll just go ask someone else, you know what I mean? But, I think the same is true for music. It is a blessing to be able to do this. And I'm very fortunate that have been able to write so many songs that I believe in with some of my best friends in the world over the last 20 plus years. And I try not to take any moment for granted. My dad always says every day above ground's a good day. So I try to play every show like it's my last one. And I try to live every day as if, it's the last one I got.
I love that. And I am somebody that lives life to the fullest. And it's so funny you said what you did, because when I was leaving my place to come to the studio today, in the elevator, somebody walks on, I'm like, hey, how's it going? He goes, I'm above ground.
Yeah.
And it is like, I think it would be so helpful in this world right now with everything that's going on in the world. I think we need to be focusing more on that. It's like even with live music, I thought all the complaining would go away when COVID happened. And it didn't take long at all for people to start bitching again. And I'm like, man, I don't give a shit if some kid is playing the recorder up on stage. I'm going to that live show, man, because we may never have that ever again.
Exactly. You know, every day above ground, every opportunity you get, make the best of it. Because I don't want to go to my grave with regrets. I don't want to
Totally.
leave any opportunities on the table. And I'm already really scatterbrained, so my wife keeps wrangling me in and keeps me on the straight and narrow as far as like tasks to be completed and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I'm very fortunate, and I know for a fact everybody that's ever stepped on stage with me, they know that they're expected to give everything they got every single night. Whether it's 5 or 5,000, that's kind of like our saying we've always said. It's like, it doesn't matter if we're playing to the bartender and the sound guy. Let's go make them be like, hey, it was still a good show. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely. And sometimes those end up the best shows, right? Like you never know. And you never know who that one of a handful of people could be that, just basically you changed their life or they spread the word because you gave it your all to them, and they're not thinking like, oh, they're not doing it that great because there's only a few of us here.
right, right, yeah. See, I don't believe in phoning it in. You know what I mean? Because I still believe in the lyrics I'm saying. So, and a lot of my lyrics are introspective. A lot of them are like, a song we have called "Save Yourself," and I always jokingly say at our acoustic shows, I'm like, this is a song I wrote about myself, from myself. It's just like, it's called "Save Yourself," and it's basically before I got sober, there was a night that I felt that I had single-handedly started the apocalypse, and I was just like, man, you got to get it together. And I remember just sitting in that hotel room, looking in the mirror, and being like, you're an idiot, man. You gotta reel it in here. And so that song kind of just wrote itself in that moment. And so every time I sing that, I can sing it full with my full chest, because I still want to look at that man in the mirror and be proud and not be like, man, I want to be able to look up and say, man, look how far we've come. Did you ever think that when you were sitting in that hotel room in Memphis that you were going to one day be, trying to help other people survive, sobriety and mental health issues and things like that. So it's making the strides to try to bring a little positivity, not just through the music, but just through everyday life.
And see, stories like that are what I love most, because sometimes when we're in those mental states, which we can all be in, like, the biggest fallacy is that the most optimistic people never get bummed out or anything. That's not the case. We're all human. But when you're in it, you can only see the tree. You can't see beyond the tree to the forest. And you
Right.
can't see where you're going to be down the road. You're just so focused on that. So when I hear a story like yours, it just makes me feel good. Like it's like now you can look back. That moment in time when you were in that moment in time was probably taking forever. And now it's just a blip in the history of your life.
Yeah. A lot of times that seemed life ending, or I don't even remember anymore. It's like, I've been able to just let go of those things that were kind of holding me back. And I still obviously struggle every day with lots of things, but I'm able to realize that I'm smart enough to know I don't know anything. And I'm able to open up and be receptive to what the universe has to offer and what the people around me, and I try to surround myself with the right people and the right energy.
That's key.
And if I can do that, then I'm a happy man. I don't have to be the class clown, dance monkey dance, make everybody laugh at the party guy anymore. I can, I did my time, and I feel like I was pretty good at it, but I feel like sobriety is where I'm best suited.
Well, you know what? I find from a lot of people I've known in my life that, you know, it took being, that drug addict, alcoholic that is out of control for them to appreciate the sobriety. Like,
Oh yeah.
and really appreciate what it's like with your head thinking clearly.
Yeah. And then the other thing a lot of people don't realize is like with sobriety, the things that you were trying to drown out and mask and cover up or whatever, they never go away. Now
No.
you just have to face it now you just have this mountain in front of you with nothing to lean on, nothing to fall back on, nothing to be like, all right, well, just take a little edge off here. Like, no, I'm head first into a brick wall at everything I do in my life. And that's how I'm wired. So when I do something, I do it all the way until I can't do it anymore. And, that was true for, drinking and partying. It was this, I became a way of life and a way of like, everything I liked to do in life, it involved being able to get wasted. So I used to
Yeah.
love golf, but no, I liked going day drinking with my friends
Right.
and hitting balls into the trees. I was never good at golf, but it was a good excuse to, make a vodka drink at 8 a.m. on T box 1. So, yeah, I like golf. I used to think I loved golf. I mean, I like it. I haven't played in years, but you know what I mean? So I have to relearn, why did I like these things previously? Like, why was this the path I was on?
Yeah.
Is it because I could be like, well, I can always find a reason to party. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, it's Tuesday, man. It's Taco Tuesday. We can go get some margaritas, and that's just the Kickstarter. So, my brain is always looking for the excuse of like, oh yeah, it'll be fine. But I know, like I said, 100 miles an hour into the brick wall, I'm never gonna have one drink. I'm never gonna just be like satisfied. If there's something that I like, that I enjoy, that brings me even delusional happiness, I'm gonna run into it every time. So I just realized that, again, I'm smart enough to know I don't know anything. So I'm just gonna have to stay away from all the things that I don't have control over.
That's where you are smart for sure. Because there are so many people that have that attitude you were talking about, like even, you know, smoking cigarettes. It's like, I don't get, like, I quit smoking. I had a heart attack surfing. And so I quit smoking. And I
Goodness.
didn't quit surfing though, but I quit smoking it. But the thing is like, I don't get people. There's some people that they'll like, I could take a hit off a cigarette or I'll smoke one. I know 100% for a fact if I took one hit off of a cigarette, I'd be back to a pack of Marlboro Reds every day within a day. You
Oh,
know,
easy. Yeah.
so it's like you can't. I know I can't take that one drag because that will be the end.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hardest thing people have to learn, I think, when they're going through whatever it is they're going through. For
Yeah.
sure.
I've had friends in the past that were right when I was getting sober, they'd be like, man, you don't have to have a drink. Just come hang out with us. We're at such and such bar. And I'm like, you know how miserable that would be for me to know that
Right.
I'm like going to be here in a bar with a bunch of drunk people that I normally would be drunker than to deal with those people. And now you want me to come and sit here and stare at the thing that would make it all feel better in the moment, but not be able to do it and still have to listen to you drunkenly babble about stuff that I don't care about. Like, nah,
And
man, I'm good.
and when you're in that, as a musician, you don't even realize how it's affecting your musicianship. Like one of my best friends who was the head engineer at my station here, he passed away a few years ago, but he was in a metal band in the 80s and then he was in a country rock duo. And I was just talking about this in the last interview it came up, but I had to go out. I don't drink, but I go out with him pre-gaming because he would have, even after being so comfortable and so good at it for so many years, he had stage fright every time. So because he was used to drinking while he was performing. So we would pregame and it would be funny. We had this joke about him. His name was Chad, and they would have two sets. And we would always say Chad is the first set and Brad is the second set. Because by time the second set, Brad was in full
Yeah.
entertaining drunk mode. But it's like I always had to babysit him a lot of times because, like, one story, you'll laugh because I'm sure you've seen a lot of this. His partner in crime, she couldn't perform that night. Her voice was gone. So I was hanging out with him and I ended up having to go home. And I get home and she calls me. She's like, Dean, you need to go back. Chad is standing on top of the speakers and he just sang Sweet Home Alabama 4 times in a row.
Hey, you know,
and
they
I like
requested
show up
every show.
Right? I show up, no Chad. And he was fun. He was fun to be with, but like you don't really realize that stuff is going on right there. And you think it's funny.
Yeah.
Until it isn't.
And I realized only recently, as sad as it is to say, that my amazing drunk experiences that I had, some of the times that I thought were the most fun I've ever had, were only fun for me. Like, right. I go back and hear everyone else's version of the same evenings, and they're like, it was not enjoyable. You were not fun. You know, and it was like, oh no, but remember I did that thing, and they're like, yeah, you thought it was hilarious. The rest of us were like, man, we're at Chili's. It's 4 p.m. What are you doing? You know? Right. So,
and that's what I'm talking about right there. It's the perspective of the people around you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But now you're better than ever. And man, this remake of this song is badass. Everybody has to check it out. World So Cold. And man, I can relate totally, not just because of what's going on in the world, but I live in South Florida and this place is fucking cold, man. And I don't mean temperature wise, okay? Because it's hot as hell with a bunch of cold ass people. And I keep saying, man, we just need to stop falling for the oldest trick in the book, divide and conquer, unite, love each other for our differences. We don't have to be exactly the same, and stop the arguing, attacking over stupid shit that like we shouldn't be arguing about. We should all just be caring about everybody else.
Yeah. Will Ferrell said in the movie Tropic, I forget the name of the basketball movie, Semi-Pro. He was like, ELE, everybody love everybody. You know what I mean? So it's like, it sounds cheesy and trivial, but I realize that most people don't understand that nobody knows anything. None of us know anything. We're all arguing and nobody knows what they're talking about. And I don't mean, I'm not talking about left, right, up, down, black, white, green. It doesn't matter. No one knows anything. We all just woke up on this floating rock in outer space. Maybe it's real. I don't know. Who knows? But everybody's so confident with their like directives and their leadership abilities. Like, oh, I know where the treasure is. It's this way. And it's like, oh no, it's actually this way. So until we realize that no one knows anything and we're all just guessing our way through life, then we're just going to be doomed to repeat the divide and conquer mentality. It's like, if we were all the same, it would be a different type of nightmare. It's never going to just be like,
that would be boring.
Right. I mean, we then are the machine, right? We are then AI. If we're all just carbon copies of each other and nothing's new and exciting, then what are we working for? What does everybody wake up for every day? You know what I mean? It's just the same existence.
Like, I have a brother that if somebody doesn't think the way he does, they're uninformed and uneducated. And I always say to him, or they grew up in a different geographical location, or they had a different upbringing, or they had different experiences in life, or 10 million other variables that make them think differently than you.
Yeah, a sponge can only soak up the liquid that it's in. You know what I mean? So like if you're a child and you're learning, you're going to learn what you're presented, whether it's in textbooks, your parents, your family members, your peers, whoever it is. You're a product of your environment, and not everybody is as blessed to have the same upbringing, environment, and family structures So when you feel that someone's ignorant and uninformed, maybe even if it is the case, it's not their fault. And it's not your place to tell me that I'm uninformed. When it comes to things like politics, I don't know anything, and I'm okay knowing that I don't know anything, because I'm not a political guy. I'm not one of these guys that's going to blast you over who you vote for. I mean, to me, I'm just like, I just want to go and live my life today. And I want to hope that everybody around me is able to do the same. And you know, I know it's wishful thinking, and we live in a cold world, ironically, pun, but, you know, I do know that it's like, my goal every day to wake up is just try to be a better version of myself, try to be a better human. That's try to hold doors. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. And try to leave a legacy of kindness and motivation.
Well, that's what makes you a human being, and that's what makes you, in my opinion, a great music artist too, because I think that is a necessary component, to be honest.
Thank you.
I love what you've done for a long time now, and I can't wait to see more of it. And everybody needs to check you out. Tell everybody how they can reach you on your socials, on the web, get the new song, check out tour dates, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Our website is 12stones.com, 12 stones. And all of our socials are either 12 Stones or 12 Stones Band. I believe TikTok is 12 Stones Band. And we don't have a team of people. I don't have a manager. I don't have a record label. I don't have anything. So if you're reaching out to someone on social media on one of the 12 Stones pages, it's a 99.4% chance you'll be speaking to me directly. So I handle all these social media accounts myself. So merch is available on the website. All the tour dates are up there. Like I said, we're about to go on the Summer of '99 Creed cruise in a little over a week.
Nice.
It's going to be fantastic time. And then after that, hitting the road with Powerman 5000 and Makes My Blood Dance. So really looking forward to those two runs.
Absolutely. And those cruises are fun, aren't they?
They are awesome. My wife and I love cruising anyway. We do a lot of travel like that. We've played a couple of the other cruise, Shipwrecked. We've played that one before. This is our first time on the Creed cruise, and I'm stoked. It's going to be a big family reunion. We got our buddies in Daughtry, and Creed was one of the first bands to ever take us out in the early 2000s. So they're like big brothers to us. So yeah, I mean, it's just so many people on this cruise. It's going to be a big old family reunion. I can't wait.
I love it. And I love how artists are on those cruises, because it's different than when you're doing like a festival. Like I did Shipwrecked, and the artists weren't even eating and catering. They were eating out at the buffet with everybody else, because they were on vacation too, and nobody was messing with them. Like, because if you're going on these cruises as like a patron, I think you treat the artists a little differently, because, you're there with them. They're going to be there. It's not like you have this limited window. And like on Shipwrecked, I don't know about the other cruises, but, every band does a meet and greet. So you have that opportunity too that you wouldn't have elsewhere. So.
Yeah, we're all doing meet and greets. We're hosting a cornhole tournament, and I had some custom 12 Stones cornhole bags made by this company called Noel Bags here in New Orleans that we're going to give away to the winners of the contest. So we're very accessible. I know the other bands feel the same way, and a lot of the people that come on these cruises have the understanding that we're all human beings, and like if we're in the bathroom or if we're eating or something, like that's maybe not the time for the photo op, but most people are really cool about that. You know what I mean? But I know speaking for us, for 12 Stones, we are very accessible. We'll be at the buffet. We'll be in the pool, hot tubs. We'll be cheering on the other bands when we're not playing. So yeah, man, we're super excited to have the honor to be on this boat, and we're going to take full advantage of making as many new friends as we can.
Well, you keep doing it, and I look forward to seeing a lot more of you, and thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman. Man,
it was my pleasure. Thank you so much.
You got it.
What's up, everybody? This is Paul McCoy from 12 Stones, and you're listening to Pipeman on W4CY.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.